Hey, what's up tout le monde? Bienvenue chez Les Généralistes, le podcast où on parle business, technologie et culture. Mon nom est Ramsley et je suis avec Alexander.
What's up, what's up?
All right, so actually today it's going to be a special episode. It's actually our first episode in English. And for that episode, we have a very special guest. So, JaeAnthony, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Chef Jae. Mais on peut parler en franglais si vous voulez.
Oh, let's do this.
It's how you want it.
We could do English and French.
Let's do
Mon nom c'est Chef Jae-Anthony. Je suis le chef exécutif de Tropikal and co-owner. And what else should I say about myself? Mostly just co-owner.
Yeah.
I'll just say co-owner and executive chef.
All right, so maybe I'll add a few more things because I
he's
feel
way
like
too humble.
you're being too humble about yourself right now.
Are you serious? Go ahead, Ramsey.
All right, so Chef JaeAnthony, like, you know, he was on the starter, the creator of Season Dreams back in the days, and that's how I kind of got to know you. Actually, first time that I heard about the restaurant, I heard about yourself is when I think it was back in 2015 or back in 2016. I was working back at the Old Port, and they had the Poutine Fest. And,
Yes.
yeah, and I heard they had a jerk poutine.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to go out there. I brought out all my workers with me, and then you know, it's funny because like I remember like I was the only black guy there. There was like an Asian guy. There was like a Latino guy, a white guy. That was like I was working with, and I brought them to the Poutine Fest, and I was like, yo, I'm going because I'm trying to get that, you know, jerk poutine. And everybody's like, okay, let me get some other stuff, and then they started looking at my stuff. They're like, okay, no, we're gonna get the jerk poutine, and then
Smart people.
starting getting on the line. But
Yeah. Shout out to Poutine Fest. That was like kind of what kind of got me on the map in Montreal because I won that fest like back to back 3 years straight.
Wow.
I don't think I won number one, but there was like a top 5 tier, and I think I was always top. No, I don't think I know I was top 5 in every year. So festivals is shout out to Montreal festivals. That really helped me like build my career as well. So
Nice.
Poutine Fest was fun.
That's pretty cool.
A
And
lot of grilling outside though. I got dark that year.
man,
it's good, man. You gotta get that dark.
I love
you know
it though.
what I'm saying?
Melanin, bro. Give me
Yeah,
dark.
need to,
bro.
Exactly,
need to pop,
exactly,
man. I'm
man.
telling you. And just before, you know, starting that interview, just want to say shout out to our sponsor, Sportira. So you can see the drip today. Had a few hoodies, few, you know, Latic. So I just want to thank all of you, you know, for believing in us and supporting that podcast. So let's get started. Première question que j'aimerais te demander, en fait. Pourquoi est-ce que tu as décidé de devenir un chef? Super basic, but like, why did you decide to
I
do
didn't
it?
want to be a chef. J'étais un styliste avant ça à Holt Renfrew.
Okay.
I used to style all the couture brands from Gucci to Alexander Wang to all those big brands. And I loved creativity. I was always creative. I always redid my own jeans. I was always one of those guys. Mais quand je travaillais au Holt, j'ai toujours demandé à les clientèles qui étaient vraiment riches si tu as déjà mangé la bouffe caraïbe. 40-10% a jamais mangé la bouffe caraïbe. And if they ate anything that was Caribbean, it was jerk chicken, maybe. It wasn't even Haitian food.
Interesting.
It was like jerk chicken because they went to Jamaica and they had jerk chicken and it was the best thing of their life. So
In the Grand Bay.
yeah. And this was like, what year was this? This is the 2015? 2015. And then it's so crazy. So then I created a whole bunch of dishes, 15 dishes, and I gave it to my clientele for free. And then I wanted to see how they felt about it.
Wow.
So it was kind of like a test. And they loved it. They said the food was amazing. I have something going. But my whole life, I always cooked, like from the age of 11. My father's a chef. My grandmother's cook. They don't cook like professionally, but they've always cooked traditionally. Right? So just like your grandma or your grandma, you know, Sunday dinners, like our grandmas are our best cooks usually.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from them, and I just used my spin on it. And I knew a lot of like flavor, texture, colors. So I knew what would look good on a plate. Like I knew that I could elevate any Caribbean dish that, si tu vas dans un resto, everyone thinks it's like a mom pop shop. Like a gold steam table.
Yeah.
What do you want? It's either griot, ricolé, or if you want like jerk chicken, mac and cheese. And it's just in a styrofoam container. But I just was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way to like make our food more appealing to quote unquote other cultures and let them experience certain things from our Caribbean culture. And we're talking, on parle de 28 pays that occupies one Caribbean, right? So you're talking about like Panama, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Aruba, Barbados, and all these countries make beautiful food, but a lot of people don't know anything about it. So when I was creating this in my mind, I'm like, okay, I have something, and it was like early, like no one was doing anything, like nobody, like everybody would just go get that like regular mom pop food.
Yeah, au Melo,
Yeah,
in the back of a casco, you know, in the back of like a small
you just
shop.
go,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes they won't have it, sometimes you wait, you like,
Yeah.
it's a stigmatism we have, and we crack jokes about it, but that's why if you look at like every other culture, they have like tiers of restaurants. Like Italian, you have your mom and pop shop, but then you have your very expensive.
Yeah.
You look at French food, you have your whatever, but you have a very expensive. If you look at Caribbean, you have one lane, right?
Yeah.
There's no like regular, and then you go when you want to dress up nice with your people, and you want to spend a couple of hundred on some champagne, and you want to experience Caribbean culture and food. That was never even seen.
So let me just ask you, like, because I think that one of the things that really come out of you know, the types of restaurants you've done or the type of cuisine is, like you said, like you've always had a focus of being pan-Caribbean, right? So how did you go about to learning about the other, you know, like Haitian rice, not the same thing as Jamaican rice, and like, you know, the type of food. So how did you go about learning the different cultures and the cuisines?
Well, also like I don't know, man. I'm always thinking. My mind is like always full. Like one thing about me, and everyone will attest, I have the worst memory ever, because my mind is so full.
Yeah.
Like if you tell me something, like, oh, bro, yeah, okay, you text me tomorrow because I'm gonna forget. And I tell people this, and I know what my faults are, right? And I don't know if that's a fault, but I know that I forget very quickly. So what I wanted to do with my chefs is I wanted to have a chef from each part of the Caribbean. I didn't want to just have a chef like from like France or whatever. Like my cooks, one's from Panama, one's from St. Lucia, one's from Haiti, and one's from Mexico.
Wow.
So now you think about that, right now, if you look at that and you think of it as a whole scheme, they all have their traditions of food, but it all comes on one plate. Right, so they all have their different cultures. They all have different ways of they season, marinate meat, but it's all brought down from slavery and when we were taken over by obviously our ancestries or whatever, from Spain culture, from France culture, from Asian culture. That was like mixed with our culture, right? So now this is where it becomes even more interesting, because now what they've learned, I could add to our Caribbean culture and just add everything together and make different recipes, which what you see on my menu today.
That's incredible. And so what I understand is your base as a stylist. You actually use that same kind of mentality and blueprint to your plate.
Exactly.
And that's pretty cool. And when I look at Season Dreams or things or whatnot, like just the way that everything is kind of set up and the fonts. From the fonts to like, the design when you go in. Now I get an influence, because that's one of the first things that actually pops.
Yeah, I design all my restaurants.
Yeah, like
I design everything. Like if you even looked at Tings in Ottawa, I designed the mural. I had Mount Rushmore, so I had Rihanna, I had Bob Marley, I had Wyclef Jean, and I had Marshall Montano. So Marshall Montano, if you guys don't know, is like the king of soca in Trinidad and Tobago. Obviously Wyclef Jean, everybody knows what Wyclef Jean's done for the community. Rihanna, Riri, and Bob Marley, right? And in my generation, these are people that like paved the way in music culture.
Yeah.
So I did a humongous hand mural by Comey. Shout out to Comey, very, 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 very dope painter, African guy, super dope, and he did everything by hand, and it was extremely beautiful, crazy nice. Beautiful. So everything, all the restaurants that I've opened, majority of the time I design it. All the time.
That's incredible. And since we're talking about creativity, I want to maybe shift gears towards the business side of things.
Right.
Because, our background is business. And when people talk about restaurants, people think about cost. Cost. From la napkin au poulet, whatsoever cost. So you opened so many restaurants. What is your mindset in terms of operations? Like, how do you make a restaurant work for you?
Okay. Well, first off, you got to figure out what kind of restaurant you want to open, right? There's two kind of restaurants to me. There's quick service and there's full service. Quick service is casse-croûte, mom pop shop, low overhead. Full service is now plates, cutlery, back of the house, front of the house, dishwash, dish pit, soap, sanitizer, pest control, garbage, oil, everything, right? So if you accumulate all those overhead costs on a full service restaurant, your profit margin is like, if you want to talk about Montréal, because Montréal is very different. Si on parle de Montréal,
for sure.
if you run a really tight, and I mean like, you're making 20% maybe.
Okay.
No.
Maybe.
Okay.
Depending on how your payroll structure.
Yeah.
Because the thing about restaurants is you have to calculate your prime costs. And prime costs is things you things you can control. So I can control payroll.
Yeah.
I can't control rent. I can't control fixed costs, certain fixed costs like hydro. I can't control those things. But I can control my food costs. I can control my payroll. So this is where you have to figure out how you're going to make things work.
Wow.
Right? And your rent cannot be more than 8% of what you think your gross sales are going to be.
Okay, that's a gem. Okay.
Okay, so if you're like, if 8%, so say, I can't really do the calculations right now. I smoked a little split before I came here. If you, anything that you think that your gross sales might be, so say your gross sales are $40,000 a month, 8% of that should be what you're gonna pay in rent.
Yeah, it's about 32. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So if you're paying more than that, then cut your payroll, work 60 hours a week, and you get paid yourself, and then that can compensate. But
that's really interesting. And at first, you were talking about how important it is d'avoir justement des chefs cuisiniers qui sont différents, right? How do you surround yourself from a business standpoint, and how important it is to the success of your business? Parce que moi, personnellement, je connais Christelle François is freaking, incredible. Just doing like a shout out to Christelle.
Shout out to Christelle. So, shout out to Christelle, my publicist, my brand manager, my PR agent, my day-to-day. She's like my Karen Civil. We talk every day. Because she's been with me from the grind. She's been with me forever.
Wow.
Like forever. And she's been with me when I went to New York for the James Beard House. She's been with me when she knew about Top Chef way before everybody. She's been taking care of that herself. Everything, my Huffington Post interview, and she's done amazing work, and she continues to do beautiful work. So shout out to Christelle, honestly.
Yeah.
And she's also the president of the Black Chamber of Commerce of Canada. So
exactly.
Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait pas, man?
Yeah, exactly.
So she's big time.
Yeah.
We're trying to get her on the show, try to get her to Montreal to talk.
Oh, for sure. I think she'll for sure take that.
Yeah. So like, how do you actually select the people you want to work with, and how important it is for you? Because I feel like when you're building a business, at first you partner up with some people, you don't really know them, but you're like, fuck it, what bad could happen? Then after that,
I've been through the grind though. I've had partners, bro.
Yeah,
I've had partners.
Because that's the thing, right? Like you're a chef, but you're also a businessman,
right?
And then like in this industry, and like Alex said, and he said, like we're not, we don't know that industry that well, but like from my understanding, it's like, when you're a chef, a lot of time what you'll have a person that's the chef that's in the kitchen, and then you have the person that handles the business. But from your side, I feel like you're also on that business side as well. And
I'm definitely someone who speaks about the day-to-day operations in terms of budgeting for the month.
Yeah.
What we're going to use this month, what we're going to put the money in, or what we're going to do, for sure. 100%. I have my partner, Jamal Ginn. Shout out to my partner, Jamal. I have also Kevin, right? And Jamal is the one who runs the finances. But we all have our strong roles in what we do. Me and Jamal, we speak very often about what our schemes are and what we're going to do in terms of a marketing strategy or anything moving forward. Like, I already planned summer already. Like, me, I don't wait until, like, oh, summer's coming. No. Like, when I post that 2021 is over, I'm thinking 2022. I'm really at 2022 right now.
You meant that,
And people are going to see next year the announcement for 2022, right? So it's like, I don't think ever like I'm always thinking a year and a half in advance. To me, everything is long term. Nothing is short term. Anything short term, unless you win the lottery, won't last.
Facts.
Even if you win the lottery, if you don't know how to maintain money, you don't know how to maintain money, right?
100%.
So Yeah. So just speaking of that, in terms of like being a businessman and running, I have, like, it's crazy. It's not bad to say, but I have a really strong chessboard, right? So all my pieces, from my pawns to my, I wouldn't call myself the king, but everybody that's on that chessboard that runs. Well, okay, so basically, we could do the announcement. We're starting a black group called Three Brothers.
Okay.
So our Three Brothers group is gonna run all the restaurants and invest and do different things.
Nice.
So that chessboard that runs the Three Brothers group is going to literally, it's a strong foundation. And it's not a strong foundation off like, oh, I met you, you're dope, let's have a meeting. This is like, Chriselle's been grinding with me and seen like my cries, and I've cried numerous amount of times. I've been broke. So I've lost, maybe in this restaurant industry, maybe 300,000 easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
blood, sweat, and tears, really.
Easy. My mom has seen it. So these are why these people now are in place, and now we're not like saying we're great, but we're getting to a point where hopefully in the next 4 or 5 years we'll be really great. You know,
So that's incredible.
And I think that's one thing that really transpired is that, like, you know, from your story is that it's the resilient, right? You know, we have t-shirts that says relentless. Like, I think your story speaks of this, you know, itself. So we're talking about, you know, you starting from your garage, right, to, you know, going to the festivals, winning the festivals, doing the whole festival tours, opening up Season Dreams. You know, we heard stories about how you were like sleeping in the restaurant because you had to pay a loan for the ventilators. So like, can you maybe take us back to those times where, like, you know, you're grinding it out, and just because now you're kind of like getting a fixture, right? You're being on Top Chef, people know who you are, but at this time, you know, you had you and your plates. And I think one thing that you've said a lot is one plate at a time. So can you maybe take us to your mindset in terms of like how those early days and how those moments of like grinding in the restaurant industry has shaped you as a person, you know?
Oh, for sure. Honestly, 100%, I knew nothing about business. Super naive. Money comes in, money goes out. Didn't even have probably a business account. I didn't know. I didn't put myself on payroll. Like, people don't understand, like, the business aspect of business. Okay? And we'll get into that really soon. But going back to the question that he asked, the starting point is probably I don't call them losses, I really call them lessons, and I think everybody does now.
Yeah.
That shapes you to who I am today. And all the money, all the cries, all the tears, because that kind of stuff that I went through my whole, probably about 6 years of my career, has turned me into the man I am today. Like, in terms of, like, hold on. I just lost my thought here. What were we talking about exactly?
Talking about those days, like, how did it feel to like be saying you took that loan to start Season Dreams, and then you're like, man, how do I get out of this? Like,
well, because the thing about it is that I always created new dishes. Like, I was very heavy on Instagram when I first started. Like, and the thing is, I had a strategy also on Instagram to get more followers. So I like everybody's look picture, and then they would like it, and then they would look at my food, and they would follow me. Like, and this is when Instagram was like 7 years ago. It wasn't like that.
It wasn't what it is today.
It isn't what it is today. So I built a strong, and I even got hacked 3 years ago, like at 5K. So I'd have more now. And I was always like creating. I was always like, I have 60 recipes that I've never introduced yet.
Wow.
I was always like, if I go to a movie and I'm watching a movie and it's not even have to do with food, I'm like, oh damn, if I do this, that will look good. And I just write it in my phone right away. Like, I write it right away in my phone, and then it goes into a book, right? So it's like, I was just always creating, like, jerk chicken poutine. Then I did the mac and cheese oxtail. Then I did oxtail dumplings. Then I just started doing crazy shit. Then I did like a oxtail submarine, and then I just started doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. But I was doing all this in house, like scratch. I would make like the dough made from like a fried bake, elongated. Then I'll like debone the oxtail. Then I'll use the jus as like as a sauce. And I was always, and this is like we're talking about like 6 years ago. I was creating these dishes. Like, one of the dishes I remember I created, I did like a scallop ceviche in a coconut.
Oh, damn.
Oh, wow.
With like and I had like a coconut milk like reduction with like turmeric. And now I see people posting it now. like as a beautiful dish, and I had it inside the coconut. And these are things that like I've been always doing, like always creating. So to me, it's like I just like when it comes to food, I'm just like, you know, when people say it's easy, not to say it's easy for me, but it's easy for me to create like really beautiful Caribbean dishes from all parts of the Caribbean too. So
That's
nice,
pretty cool.
nice. It kind of makes me think of like, because at the end of the day, that's your craft, right? That's really what you've learned how to do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you've done it so much that, you know, you're able to be creative about it. You're able to say like, hey, like this is, let me try this thing and let me see how I can maybe look at something that someone hasn't talked about, like maybe the jus or something like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe you take the broth and you make something else. So I think it's really like once you've mastered that craft, then after that you just let your creativity run, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you have good pieces, like I said, so now I could really focus on the food aspect. I trust my partner. See, now I trust Jamal. I trust Jamal to know that everything we pay, the day-to-day, the taxes, everything is going to be run smoothly. I trust Kevin to make sure HR is done. I trust my partner. I trust Christelle to know that the summer campaign that we're going to do or whatever we do is going to like attract all this media and all this push and all these shares. I trust my people.
That's incredible.
So
Because
that's when now my creativity could expand.
Yeah.
Right? That I'm not focused on everything.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
And it's kind of like your self-awareness of your own skills and being honest about it and finding the people that complements you. And
I already know. I'm getting kind of better, but I'm not an organized person. I'm very like, I don't even like computers. I still have a pad and I write everything on a pad and then my boys they're like, Jay, just type it. And I'll type it, but I don't like doing it. I'd rather write it on a pad and take a picture and send it to them.
Yeah, you're creative, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
don't like
is.
it. I don't like it at all. So
that's pretty cool, man. Just to go back to what you were saying about the craft, is like I feel sometimes it's like kind of the part missing in our generation.
Yeah.
Like the craft and like actually
That's
do
true.
something constantly
true, man.
every day for like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Because I feel like right now you do something once a month and you are already an expert.
everybody
And on
wants,
social media.
but everybody is a boss.
Yeah, everybody is great. They go on Clubhouse. They have like a bio of like a fucking like whole paragraph. But this is what I love about your stories, really, the fact that you have a craft and like it's constantly on your mind. So like just think about that because that's all you kind of know and all that can you kind of inspire you.
and I'm a student to the game,
Yeah,
right? So just
man.
like people would say about music or anything, I'm still a student. I'm still learning. There's so like me, I get bored easily. I'm a Leo.
Yeah.
I get bored very easily. I'm very like change very quickly. So so I'm always studying.
Yeah.
Like I'm always studying food, and not even just Caribbean food, like Asian food. I'm studying how to maybe do a dope Caribbean bao bun and implement something with a bao bun, or do like that's how oxtail dumplings came along 5 years ago. Because I was really like I really like Asian. I used to really be heavy on Asian food. So it's like, okay, so how do I do this? And I'm like, okay, so I do this and it's cool.
Yeah.
Right?
And talking about, you know, like music, we're talking about music. How do you become a celebrity chef? Like, how does that work?
I don't even know. I don't even consider myself a celebrity chef.
Like, I mean, because
I don't even know if I'm a celebrity.
mean,
Everyone does, but I'm like, am I a celebrity? And I don't even put myself at that title.
Yeah, but like,
And I've cooked for every single celebrity in Montreal. I mean, in Canada.
yeah, so like, you know, Drake and like Boi1da, like I saw all of that
Drake,
and I was like,
Boi1da, even J. Cole, Schoolboy Q, Ty Dolla $ign, August Alsina, Chad Ochocinco when he was here for the Alouettes. I was his cook.
Damn.
Who else? What's her name? In Toronto. What's her name there? I forgot her name. Is it Lisa Ray? No, not Lisa Ray. One of those famous, like, very strong black women.
That's incredible.
The Weeknd. I was supposed to go on tour with The Weeknd and be a chef.
Damn.
But I didn't end up doing it because I had, like, weddings and stuff. Shout out to XL. Super dope. Brooklyn. He's super dope, too. A lot of people in the industry.
And since we're talking about the blueprint, like how do you get to those space? Because it's not only being excellent at what you do, but how do you get the connections?
Oh, well, I'll
where those
tell you
people
how I
like-
did that business model.
Go ahead. Yeah, we want to talk about
Yeah,
business.
that's-
what
All
we're
right,
talking
so
about, man.
shout out to Ricky D because
Ricky
Ricky
is
D,
huge,
man.
man. Every
Yeah,
time that we
yeah.
talk about artists,
you talk about Ricky
You know,
D.
Ricky
Yeah.
is, yeah.
But this is what I did. When I first started off, I told Ricky D, when your artists come down, I will cater everything they want for free. I will take it on the arm. I just want the exposure.
Wow.
And he took it. And every single artist, from even Movado, all of them, I forgot those guys too. So every time he would have it, and this is when like he was always doing things at Club Soda. Every like month he would always have a new celebrity, whatever. And I was always doing backstage cooking celebrities. And I would take a picture and I would post it. And people didn't know, like, okay, I'm just taking a picture cooking, but that just builds momentum, right?
Yeah.
So you're building momentum. You're just cooking for celebrities. Everyone's like, oh, this guy must be fucking wicked. And then I was doing my takeout and delivery. So not only was I doing that, and I was losing money with that. Well, not losing because I was gaining in marketing. So to me, if I'm losing monetary gain, I'm gaining in somewhere. Like I gotta compensate somewhere, right? So I'm gaining more marketing. Like people are following me on Instagram, so I'm gaining more sales in terms of my pickup and delivery. I used to call it the mobile kitchen. I used to deliver from the West Island all the way to LaSalle. And people get their food cold, and I'll let them know it because I have like 40 deliveries across Montreal, right? And I had a little blue Echo, dog.
No
I
way.
just put I had a fucking all the styrofoam containers in a big box, write people's names on it.
On the back seat.
In the back seat, bro. Some of them got it hot, some of them got it cold, some of them got it ice cold, bro. But they warmed it and they said it was the craziest food they ever had.
Incredible.
So, and that's how I built that. But then after, like, people started just hearing about me, and I started cooking for celebrities all the time. Like, shout out to Boi1da. He's my guy. Me and him are really close. Well, we're pretty close as friends. I cooked for him about 2 birthdays already. Even Boi1da. What's his name? T minus. T minus is a super dope dude as well. Felton. Shout out to Felton. That is J. Cole's like.
Manager or maybe
No. J. Cole. He does all the creative design.
Oh, okay, cool.
So shout out to Felton and all these guys, you know. So, and I cooked for Boi1da. Boi1da was hooked right away. So that's another thing. So people start speaking, and then that's how that happens.
But it's crazy that you got the foresight to say, you know what, like, let me do that thing for free at first because you understood that you need to get your name out there.
Access.
And then at the end of the day, your craft is going to speak for itself.
Of course. If they don't like it, then I got to change something.
Exactly.
If they don't like it, I'm like, okay, all right, let me
Exactly.
revamp what I got to do. Let me taste my recipes a little bit better.
Yeah.
But none of them, everyone took to go, bro. As
Boom.
Young MA when she came down here was going crazy. Ella May when she came down here. All those people, like, shout out to all those people that really love the food. And yeah,
because I feel like right now the celebrities kind of put their chef like on a spotlight right now.
Yeah, on a
it's like
pedestal
people
and
talk
like-
about it. So I was watching a podcast with athletes, like the football
I am
guys.
athlete.
Yeah. They always say, "Yo, that's the chef." Like, I have the same.
Yeah.
And like it's right now, it's starting to be part of the culture.
yeah,
and
chef.
it's-
They say chefs are the new rock stars. Like you go to
Exactly.
restaurants
100%.
now for the chef,
Literally.
for who the chef
Literally.
is, right?
100%.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
And that's crazy because when you think about it, once again, we were kind of business oriented. Is like you kind of build that from the get go before it was a thing. So you put your name first before everything else in a
Oh, for
sense.
sure.
And it's now that you kind of reap the benefits of that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Top Chef.
Yeah, so you announced that pretty recently that you're one of the contestants of Top Chef, and it's funny because watching those kind of shows in my mind, it's like I always felt like people will get on that show because like they're good cooks, but they need to get to the next level. But having already tasted your food, and I ordered Tropikal this week, it was really good. So in my mind, I'm like, JaeAnthony, like, he's already out there. Like, he's already on the top, in my mind. So I just want to know from your perspective, like, what was the thought process into applying to be on Top Chef? And what do you think you'll get out of it?
The crazy thing, I didn't apply for Top Chef. They contacted me.
Yeah, so he's already out there. Yeah, exactly.
I
There
didn't
you
apply
go.
for Top Chef at all.
There
I
you
actually
go.
was very hesitant on being Top Chef because I'll tell you why. When I applied for Master Chef Canada, so Master Chef is very different from Top Chef. Top Chef, you're like a chef, you're elite, you're competing against different chefs across Canada. Master Chef is a home cook, so you're not actual chef, quote unquote, and you're a home cook, like you are an engineer, you come home, you cook good food, and this is your passion. So when I first started off 7 years ago, I made top 100 Master Chef. The reason I didn't make live shows is because they considered me a chef because I cook for a living.
Okay.
So I didn't make shows.
Yeah.
Chop Canada, they contacted me. No, I applied twice. They looked at me, and then I didn't make live shows. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Next time I apply, no, I'm never gonna apply again. I'm gonna be a judge. I said, forget this. I'm not applying no more.
Yeah.
Like, why am I applying for? Forget this. So I said, next time I'm gonna be a judge. So it's all pre-recorded anyway. So it's pre-recorded. It's not live.
Yeah.
Okay. So when last year, April, when we were opening things, I got a direct message from obviously Food Network executive, whatever, that they would love me to apply. And I did, and I made the show.
Incredible.
Yeah. The guy told me from my first interview, I made the show.
Okay.
He said from the first interview, he knew I was going to make the show.
Wow.
That's insane.
And that's crazy because, like, you know, I think that one of the things that I believe that maybe will happen is that, you know, even within our community, like, you're doing great, and I think you'll have a lot of more exposure to a lot of peoples. But, you know, maybe Alexander, I'll let you ask a question about, you know, being a black chef, like in Montreal, you know, having, you know, your spot right there, you know, Tropikal is at a pretty prime spot, so.
Yeah, and then next to Foie Gras, next to other people, they don't pay me, I don't do any shout out to them, but next to like some pretty decent, you know.
Yeah, I know Jeremy well. Jeremy Baracco owns Foie Gras, he owns Fugazi, he owns Baracco. I know those guys well. I don't know the Joe Beef Group. I know Jeremy for a while. When I did Lobster Clam Jam, and I first did Introduce a Jerk Lobster, I had a 4.5 hour line that went through their tent and around the back.
Dear God.
Every 2 years back to back, I tripled anybody's close to my sales.
Crazy.
Wow.
And that's all facts, no caps.
No, we
but they can, I know people by fact check. You know people.
Hold on.
Let me see if this nigga actually did that. But I'm not worried at all. It's very different kind of food. Our culture is beyond great in terms of seasoning, marination, texture, flavor.
Hell yeah.
And it's just like everyone has their own lane. There's money for everybody. I'm not competing against anybody, but I know what. Jeremy contacted me like 6 years ago when I first started off.
Wow.
So he knew. Everybody knows. Like you could only stop for so long. Like you could only like stop me for so long from breaking the barriers.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna break it down no matter what. It's either you're gonna come and join me and then maybe hop on the ride with me, or I'm just gonna break through you.
Yeah.
It's just you choose.
And what does that mean for your legacy? And what is your ambition for the future regarding what you're doing? I know you spoke a bit about the three brothers, so I kind of get the picture now, like a big group, but what does that mean not only for yourself, but for the community or community?
Well, the thing about it is like you're gonna see a lot on Top Chef. I speak about my community and like allowing the next young generation to see. Because if you look at any show on Food Network, not Food Network so much, Food Network for the States, but Food Network for Canada, most of the chefs are all white. They're all a clear face. Not to say they're not really dope chefs. They're all very good in their own right. But there's no black chefs. Yeah. There's no celebrity black chefs in Canada. There's nobody. There's a couple maybe in Toronto, maybe that are kind of doing their thing, but not on a large scale like some of these chefs. And that's because systematic racism is super prevalent as a chef. And nobody knows how crazy it is because you won't think of it, right? Like a chef is a chef. Like you're not going to be like a chef, but it's really bad. If you look at anything in terms of any TV show, in terms of anything on foodnetwork.ca, it's usually not. It's maybe like 2 compared to like 20.
Yeah.
You know, and it's definitely going to, I'm changing it, and it's definitely going to change.
Yeah. And you know, it's like, and one of the things that I'm looking forward to is that, as we say, like as people will like to have a network, and we like to say, like, you know, you go to a restaurant, you know the chef, and you want to meet him because you have good food and stuff like that. But like, for me personally, like being able to be at an upscale black restaurant and doing that and say, hey, like JaeAnthony, you have great food. Like it's something that's for us as we're coming up in this world, and we're taking our place. It's also nice to have those connections because I'm not gonna do the same thing with. It's not that I don't want to do the same thing, but for me, the attraction is not the same to go see a white chef and say, hey, it's nice, right?
Definitely not.
You know?
Yeah.
So like,
definitely not.
It's really nice. So.
Definitely. Like I went to Jérôme Ferrer once with my mom, and she was really happy about it. And she was like, hey, that's Jérôme Ferrer in the kitchen, because it's kind of clear when you go there. And I'm like,
but you're like, it's all right, but you know.
I don't know the guy. Like, I'm sure he's great, and like the food was cool. But, you know, But
we have no one to like.
no one to
like point and be like, oh, look at this man.
Yeah, I wasn't hype about it.
Yeah, like in the
Exactly.
States, you have Samuelson, Chef Samuelson.
Yeah,
Like even
from
like
the
Montreal,
Marquez.
you have Marcus Samuelson, but Montreal, you have like me and Paul Toussaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, and that's
Yeah.
it. And in Ottawa, there's me.
Yep.
And then in Toronto, I think there's just like maybe Suzanne Barr and Adrian Forte that was on Top Chef before me. But there's nobody, bro. Vancouver, there's nobody.
Yeah,
And if I go down through Alberta and shit, I guarantee
Bro.
there's nobody. There's not even
Yeah.
black people there. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
there's nobody. There's nobody there.
Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's nobody there. So look at that right there.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
and we're talking about like there's a. If you want to, I bet you if we can name probably 10 celebrity chefs in Montreal, I can name you 5 right now. Right now off the top. Chef Danny Smells, Chuck Hughes, what's her name who owns Bird Bar, the Joe Beef guys, and who else is a part? Oh, and Chef Antonio Park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Antonio
yeah.
Park.
Boom.
which is- yeah, that's
5 right there.
No, exactly.
And none of them have a black face.
no, exactly. And that's why I think this industry is up for the taking. And
And they
they're
sell
doing a
jerk
good job.
chicken. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
for real?
It's
I
insane.
know.
They
For
sell
real? I know
they
that.
sell they
Even
sell
chicken
jerk
waffle at the Bird Bar.
Oh, yeah.
They
I
sell
saw-
they sell
understand.
all of it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to put no one on blast.
Yeah.
And I know most of the owners in the industry,
Yeah.
and I love their food and their creativity, but they sell they sell our cultured food.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
they just show you how much like jerk has became a staple.
Yeah.
Like I've seen jerk chicken poutine in like 20 restaurants in Montreal, and I created. If I could get a patent on that, bro, I'd be a billionaire, bro.
Oh, facts,
Just
facts.
put your name out. Just
For
put
sure,
your name on
man.
there. It's already on
What,
there. So it's
bro?
already stapled.
For sure.
It's on Google.
Yeah.
Like if you Google
Exactly.
it, it's
who
there.
created
But
it, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We know,
But
we know
listen,
that.
let's
But yeah.
conclude on. Talk to us a little bit about Tropikal in like 30 seconds.
okay, well,
And, because that's the whole purpose of
okay,
the
so
show
yeah,
today.
Tropikal is basically a restaurant that embraces drink culture, which is a lot of rum cocktails and pineapples, whatever, and we pair it with a lot of food from the Caribbean, and not just the Caribbean, like just like what we think of which is Haitian food or Jamaican. Talking about a whole bunch of like Latino influenced food as well. We're gonna be doing a lot of arroz capollo or whatever, I forgot how to say it. A lot of dishes from Panama. We already have dishes from Panama and Costa Rica. So it's like we're going to embrace everything from the tropics, hence Tropikal. So, yeah, come by. You'll love it. The vibe, DJ. We're doing a private dinner room downstairs. It's more of a chef experience. It's going to be very, very crazy. Very
So
good.
you
And
guys know where to find us.
Exactly.
And I mean, he didn't say it on the show, but he still says que le riz poisson haïtien is still the best rice.
It
in
is the best.
Tropikal.
No,
It
they
is the
do.
best.
Oh, for real?
Straight facts.
Yeah,
Haitians make the best
There you
rice.
go.
Okay, I like that.
There you go. There you go.
I think we can conclude on
Yeah,
that. Like, we can
we're
close
good.
it up right
We're
now.
good.
Vas-y, Ron.
That's why we have it in my restaurant.
No, that's what I'm talking about. And then
Boom.
you
Oh my God,
guys,
so glad.
yo, so
Sorry,
Tropikal
I had a
Restaurant
moment.
is already open, guys. So, you can order your food. And I can't wait for those sanitary measures to be done so we can go kick it down there.
Definitely, bro.
So, yeah, that's it for today, man. So, Chef JaeAnthony,
Thank
much
you guys for
appreciated.
having me, man. God bless you guys. Continue doing
Thanks,
what you're
man.
doing.
Definitely,
Thank
man.
you.
Definitely. So, yeah. So, merci pour les généralistes. Merci d'avoir écouté notre épisode. N'oubliez pas de nous follow sur Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, toutes les plateformes. So, si vous avez des questions, hit us up sur Instagram, sur Twitter ou quoi que ce soit d'autre. On peut faire un épisode chaque 2 semaines. Mon nom est Ramsley, je suis avec.
Alexander.
All right. Et avec.
Thanks.
Oh, my pleasure. Chef JaeAnthony from Tropikal.
There you
Boom.
go. All right. See you next time.
Merci.
All right.